And so his only time he does fight is with his big like axe hammer thing.
And he's just throwing it.
So he doesn't really have any real powers.
He's just strong.
He's such a weak villain because he doesn't really fight.
Yeah.
The third mother box he gets, which I believe is the humans one.
Yeah, it's just laying in the car.
It's like laying in the car, and it's while Superman is fighting the rest of the Justice League because he doesn't know where he is, and he basically just lands, and then they turn away from Superman for a second. They're like, "Oh no, it's Steppenwolf!" And he has the box. He's like,
Oh, no.
"Ciao!" And then
Ciao.
he gets sucked up into the boom tube, and so he doesn't stay and fight. And Wonder Woman even says that she's like, the Steppenwolf in years past has just wanted to establish his land. This time it feels like he wants to bring the fight to the humans. But it doesn't feel like that because he just runs away.
If he wanted to bring the fight, he would have like started his killing spree in like a city, in
Yeah.
an abandoned place.
But he doesn't really kill anyone either. Like, one scene I did really like was the Amazons.
Oh, that was cool, yeah.
It was cool because it felt like,
I felt like I was watching Wonder Woman.
and it also felt like it gave the scope of the DC universe because it was like,
Yeah.
okay, we don't have to stay in cities the whole time. We can go to
cool.
Themyscira.
It's
Yeah,
very nice. Atlantis sucked.
yeah.
They go down in this murky pit. There's nothing there.
I
like
wasn't a
two
big-
Atlantean guards.
I wasn't a big fan of
Yeah.
Atlantis.
Mara?
Mara was there.
She like did nothing. She's like, "Hey, we don't like you here. Remember that? That's
Yeah.
for your movie.
Yeah.
See you in a year."
And also, I didn't like how it felt like they had to make the air bubble to make the scene clear. Like, it felt weird that... I'm really excited for Aquaman, don't get me wrong, but it feels as if... Does everything have to be blurry because they're underwater? Why can't we just trust that they're underwater and
Yeah.
make it clear? Like,
She
that's...
used fish as an attack.
She did.
She was like, fish, go.
Yeah, but even then, Steppenwolf was weak coming down. Yeah, he did the classic throw the hero against the wall and they hit their back and they fall down. And you think they're dead, but they're really not because they can survive that.
Because they're Atlantean.
Yeah, but
like
that
such
scene
a
was pretty weak.
contrast, like Themyscira, like is a built like thing. It was in Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And that was a really cool scene.
Yeah.
But like Atlantis was
Maybe
like,
that was just
boring.
like a throne room where they keep the box and we'll see more of Atlantis and Aquaman. That's what I really hope.
Yeah. But like, I was really confused when he got down there.
Yeah.
Like, he was able to swim right to it. I don't think it was a throne room. Like, I think it was just some place.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see more of that in Aquaman, which is the only really confirmed DC movie.
Well, isn't Flash kinda?
When I say confirmed, I mean they've wrapped filming.
Oh, they wrapped filming? For
Yeah,
Aquaman?
they're in
Who's
post-production
playing
now.
Black Manta?
Semi something. His name is very...
Black Manta's cool.
But that movie I am excited for because,
Because DC solo movies are better.
Yeah. He's being played by... Oh, sorry, Michael K. Williams. Not a very complicated name. But, like I said...
Cool.
It is... Is it Michael K. Williams? It's either Michael K. Williams or... No, Kevin Michael Richardson played him in Batman, The Brave and the Bold. Michael K. Williams will be played in live action. He'll play Black
Manta's
Manta.
cool. I like Black Manta.
So... Yeah, I feel like we'll delve more into Atlantis in Aquaman solo movie. I don't have too much to get worried about there.
Let's talk about Flash now.
Flash... Oh,
we
boy.
haven't really talked about Flash or Cyborg
Yeah.
yet. Let's do Flash.
We'll talk about Flash
I
and
think that's
Cyborg.
where we like don't agree with each other there.
Yeah, I really didn't like Ezra Miller's portrayal of the Flash. I wouldn't say I strongly disliked it, but I was very annoyed by his portrayal in general.
I disagree with that, but I see what you mean. I thought he was like some levity to the movie.
Yeah,
Like, his jokes, not all funny, but the way he presented Barry Allen was cool. I thought it was like pretty comic accurate.
yeah, but
The whole I'm surprised they talked about his dad. I liked that stuff in the prison.
Yeah,
I thought
but-
that was really cool. I liked how he was like a young superhero, like Batman's like, you need to save one. And then he's like, oh, I can save more than one. I thought that was cool character building. I do agree that he was like, sure, he was annoying, and some
Yeah.
of his jokes were kind of stupid, and it's like, oh, I'm uncomfortable around people, look at me. But
I thought most
Barry
of his jokes
Allen,
were
I guess I
stupid.
didn't really like Barry Allen, but I like the Flash. I like the Flash a lot.
So one scene what really made me lose hope and decide that this guy was going to be terrible.
I don't think he can lead a movie though.
Yeah, that's another thing. If they're going to make another the next big team up movie is going to be Flashpoint. I do not want to see a movie centered around Ezra Miller's Flash.
He is a supporting character. I do not see him leading a movie.
Yeah, and so
Even Cyborg, I do not see Cyborg.
The one joke that got me was he goes in the Batcave and he runs around. He's like, "It's like we're in a cave." Then runs around again. And he goes, "It's a Bat Cave."
Yeah,
and that's just like, I get that they were trying to get the whole look. He's like a little kid aspect. It works for Spider-Man because he literally is a little kid.
Yeah.
But this is a guy who, like, what? He didn't get a job at the crime lab or whatever?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and also the scenes with his father.
I thought those are pretty cool.
Because I've watched the TV show, I know they're completely separate, but I know the story. I know the general story of his father's falsely in prison. And
I knew that from, like, just knowing superheroes, but I don't watch the Flash TV show.
Right.
Alright.
I don't want to compare this to the Flash TV show because, first off, I don't even watch it anymore. I feel like it's fallen off a lot in the third season. I thought the first 2 seasons were really good. But the point is, I know the general story of his father falsely being in prison for murdering his mother, but in turn it was really a reverse Flash. Big whole story there. But they don't even say that he's truly innocent. They just say that Barry believes he's innocent, as would any son feel towards their father.
Well,
so that's why
any son. I mean, if he
all right,
did.
but come on, like most would, and so that's why I was like, I didn't feel the weight. I only felt the weight because I know the story, but the general audience member I don't think feels the weight of that scene. So Ezra Miller as the Flash really did annoy me. Also the fact that, you know, he's got all this power, and I get that he's like a little kid, but he's so timid and...
Well, I mean, he's, like he said before, all I really do is push people
he's
and
so,
run away.
But he's, for a guy with all this power, he acts so weak.
Well, he kind of is. He's just fast. That's all he does is push people.
I feel like he didn't even mature towards the end of the movie. I felt like he still stayed like that.
Maybe he'll mature in the Flash movie, but
I don't know.
I don't think he's able to lead a movie. I feel like Wonder Woman is the best leading character.
Absolutely.
She can lead the movie perfectly.
It's funny because when she was cast, people had the most apprehension towards her because they're like,
she wasn't an actress. She was a model.
She was a model.
Amazing.
And she portrays the role so perfectly, and I feel like that's because she was met with so much criticism that
has so much grasp.
She decided to take on the role
like
more than...
Batman felt like a supporting character.
In this movie?
Yeah.
I feel like it was clearly Ben Affleck at the center stage,
I know,
but maybe
he did nothing.
the execution of his character.
But like,
I don't want
guess in most of like the scenes where they're talking, Bruce Wayne does a lot. But when they're fighting, Batman just gets punched and he can't do anything.
Right,
and he lies on the floor in pain.
I'm done talking about Batman, to be honest, just because I'm.
Yeah. We like the Flash. I kind of like him. You don't. Cyborg.
Yeah. Cyborg. Is not a character. Cyborg is a plot device. Mike, say your spiel about Cyborg.
He was well acted, I think, but I agree that he was kind of there. He felt important because
he was important because he needed to be important to do stuff.
Yes, he was important, but when you say well acted, maybe with what he was given, but
no, because I don't think it's usually the actor's fault.
All his lines were so monotone
because
and
that's
no
what
emotion.
Cyborg is.
But like even in the comics, like isn't his catchphrase "Booyah" or something?
Well,
is he supposed to say that with some like emotion?
He did just get his thing, so maybe he's kind of like, I don't know.
I know, but the entire time he feels just like why would you do this to me? I feel so like upset.
At the
and all
end,
that.
he was happier.
And I guess it was kind of cool that his suit was changing.
He changed his suit to like the Cyborg C.
Yeah,
because like it's like they're all becoming superheroes. Like, oh, we're gonna go out in the world and help people.
Yeah.
Like Wonder Woman is out of hiding now. Cyborg's doing stuff in the lab.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess like from Teen Titans, like if you watch the show, he's more upbeat.
Yeah.
But I don't think he was like terrible. I just think he was, I don't know, wasn't given enough, and he was acted well with what he had. I don't think the acting was an issue in this movie besides Ben Affleck.
Yeah, I don't know.
Booyah was kind of bad.
I personally, I just feel that he wasn't.
It wasn't important.
He wasn't important, and I don't even think he was acted that well. To be honest, that's my perspective.
Yeah. I think he did a fine job.
Before we give our final scores, just with how the movie wrapped up. Oh, we have to talk about the post-credit scenes.
Yeah.
First one I don't want to focus on too much. It was a nice little comic nod.
It was cool. It was definitely a Joss
with
Whedon
the
thing.
Flash and Superman saying they're going to race, and then they just they
Harry
start,
Olsen.
but then the credits roll again. Second end credit scene, we see that Lex Luthor has broken out of prison. We see a mysterious figure on a speedboat heading towards...
Not mysterious. You know it's Deathstroke the second you see the katanas.
He's not in the light. The point is, the general audience does not know who he is. He lands on a bigger boat, like a yacht, essentially. He steps into the light. It's clearly Deathstroke.
Takes off the mask.
Lex Luthor says, Slade, you know,
we
we should have a team of our own. And it
a
ends...
league of our own.
Yeah, and so there's Jesse Eisenberg
The
as Lex
Injustice
Luthor, all bald and shaved, and
Toned it down a bit.
yeah, it wasn't as eccentric. Did kind of appreciate that, but I can't even get excited for this
It
because
might not happen.
I don't care about the DC universe so much. Like, I don't feel like this. I don't feel
They
like
look cool.
I
That's
do
what
not
they-
think a Justice League 2 will happen. Prove me wrong, but Ben Affleck will not be Batman in Justice League 2. Joe Manganiello doesn't even know if he wants to play Slade Wilson. He said that he wanted to play Slade Wilson in Ben Affleck's Batman movie. Of course, now since he's in the end credit scene, maybe that this means he is signed
Matt
on.
Reeves is a good director, though.
He is, but I don't even want to go into that
Yeah,
with my
But like,
thoughts
he looks
on
so
that.
cool as Deathstroke. I'm like,
Yeah.
Deathstroke.
I just want to say,
Deathstroke.
after watching this movie, it only confirmed that I do not care about the DC Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
My one-word review, Mike mentioned it earlier, but my one word to describe this movie is lame.
Yeah. It's
Because Batman v Superman, I had expectations, and those were dwindled completely with its execution. This movie, I didn't really expect anything, and I was given basically what I was expecting. I wouldn't say
you were given like the blandest.
I wouldn't say I
like-
overestimated this movie, and that this movie was like
Yeah.
below
No,
my
I
expectations.
did not hate this movie. I tolerated it.
I don't hate this movie because in order to hate something, it takes effort.
Yeah.
I don't care enough to hate this
I
movie.
do think they tried.
I just dislike it.
They tried, but they failed. They tried very hard.
A lot of people say this is showing that DC is taking a step in the right direction.
I think it's
I
not a
don't-
step backward. I think they just kind of stood in place for a little bit.
Yeah,
It's a stand in place. They did not take a step forward or a step back.
yeah. So, like I
It's
said,
definitely better than it's better than Batman vs Superman.
Yes.
Not as good as Man of Steel. Definitely not as good as Wonder Woman. And I don't really count Suicide Squad.
yeah, that's fair, I
I-
guess.
I remember how happy I was to see that. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. All right.
I forget to forget it for me.
So now I guess we can give our scores out of 10.
Yep.
All right, I've given this a lot of thought, and it's definitely not going to be positive for me. But I just don't. I don't want to give it too much credit, but I also don't want to give it too little. So I'm going to go with a 4.1 out of 10. It had redeeming qualities, but not enough to even give me half enjoyment with this movie. There's not one scene in this movie where I got myself riled up like it felt like a Marvel movie. And yeah, I just whatever. That's how I describe this movie. Whatever. Mike?
When I was watching this movie, I was very bored.
Yeah.
I got bored. I'm like, oh no. But there was so much potential in it.
Yeah.
And not potential on the next movie. I felt the potential in this movie through the characters. So I'm gonna be a little nicer than you. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10
All right.
because it was halfway there. It was
Right.
halfway there, so it's getting a halfway score.
Part of my confirmation with why it's such a lame score is because this was not a movie where I felt like I found myself talking to
Yeah.
Jake. I saw this with Jake and Luke, and I found myself talking to Jake in between the movie, and I didn't feel bad. I'm one of those people who's don't talk in the movie theater, but I just didn't care.
I got up and walked around because there was no one else in there.
Yeah.
I was moving my seats. I'm like, oh, maybe it's a seat. Maybe it's a seat.
Yeah.
No, it was definitely. My dad fell asleep.
Jeez.
He was not feeling it.
All
He was
right.
like, oh, well, yeah, Superman.
With that being said, we are almost out of time, so it is time to roll credits. Alright, we want to say thank you for joining us as always. We are trying to do more of these special episodes. Obviously, it's the second one. Our
Yep.
first one was Thor. We want to try to get out and see Murder on the Orient Express
Yeah,
eventually.
that'd be good.
So that would be really cool.
Special episode. A little
Just-
late,
Yeah, whatever. But it looks
but
interesting.
yeah, I'll give it a chance.
Just where to find us, you can find me on all social media
Oh.
platforms at Liam Crowley
Stranger
714. Stranger Things. We're going to get to it.
Okay.
It's going to be really late, but we're going to get to
Oh.
it. We do want to talk about it.
And The Punisher did just come out.
We can try to do that as well. Mike, where can we find you?
Mike Gillis 25. Pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, and for the podcast in general, at Real Talk Pod. That's REEL, as it is spelled on the title of the podcast. You can find us on Twitter. Please tweet or DM us your questions. We also have a Gmail, the Real Talk Podcast at gmail.com. If you want to get us your questions or concerns there. We will see you again Wednesday with our regular weekly episodic. episode, and
New Hope?
yeah, we'll be getting into the original trilogy. All right, it's been real, guys. Thanks.